One of these days, baby, you're gonna get blood on your hands.
Time to face the music.
And time for us action movie fans to check out 10 standout titles, newly added to Netflix's 2025 catalog. A curated mix ranging from long-requested favorites to fresh premieres, all packed with pulse-pushing intensity. From high-octane chases to razor-sharp shootouts and explosive standoffs, these films bring a momentum that keeps you locked in from the first frame. The Nice Guys, 2016.
You come in here, you beat up on me. It's part of the job, I accept it. But what did you do? You pissed me off.
In 1970s, Los Angeles private investigator Holland March crosses paths with enforcer Jackson Healy when both are pulled into the same strange case involving a dead adult film star and a missing girl. What starts as a violent misunderstanding becomes an uneasy partnership, as March and Healy realize the people threatening them are tied to something far bigger than a simple disappearance. Thrust together, they crash through smoky bars, bizarre parties, and back alley clues, chasing a mystery that twists deeper every time they think they've figured it out. As bodies drop and evidence points toward a cover-up inside the auto industry, the unlikely duo has to decide if staying alive matters more than uncovering the truth. The Nice Guys is a wild neo-noir comedy where Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe stumble into chaos, trade sharp banter under fire, and push through a conspiracy that proves some of the worst men in Los Angeles might be the only ones willing to make things right. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F.
The hell with the seatbelt! We're on the edge!
Eddie Murphy is back as Axel Foley, the fast-talking Detroit cop who turns every case into a war zone and every suspect into a punchline. When a routine lead drags him back to Beverly Hills, Axel tears through the city with reckless charm, chasing down clues, chaos, and anyone dumb enough to get in his way. As explosions, car chases, and old enemies stack up, he teams with new allies and familiar faces to crack a case that's bigger and more dangerous than anyone realized. Beverly Hills Cop is a loud, fast action comedy ride where Eddie Murphy turns high-stakes danger into high-volume laughter, proving once again that nobody does trouble like he does. National Security, 2003.
Wait, that's my car!
You may reprocure your vehicle.
In Los Angeles, two hot-headed security guards get thrown into chaos when a simple shift erupts into a full-blown street war they never signed up for. Forced to team up against a trail of criminals, explosions, and reckless chases, the two crash through one disaster after another as the city turns into their battleground. Hunted by dirty officers and cornered by ruthless criminals, they're dragged into a wild trail of stolen trucks, bar fights, and high-speed mayhem that pushes their luck and their partnership to the edge. National Security is a loud, fast buddy cop comedy where two security guards punch way above their pay grade and somehow turn every disaster into the funniest mess the city's seen in years. Back in action, 2025.
Me and your mom were non-official cover operatives for the CIA.
But we went off the grid to start a family.
In suburban Atlanta, former CIA operatives Matt and Emily live a quiet life with their kids, 15 years after faking their deaths to escape the spy world. When armed men track them down and kidnap their daughter, the couple is forced back into action chasing a stolen device tied to the mission that once ended their careers. From Atlanta to London, they run through safe houses, chases, and betrayal as old enemies surface, and the life they built starts to collapse under the truth they left behind. Now Matt must decide if protecting his family means disappearing forever or becoming the operative he swore he'd never be again. Back in Action brings Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz together in a high-energy Netflix thriller where the quiet life collapses fast and two parents fight to protect the family they built in the shadows. Baby Driver, 2017.
So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
In Atlanta, a young getaway driver named Baby works for a violent crime boss to pay off an old debt. Baby is quiet, but he drives like nobody else, locking into the rhythm of his music to keep his focus sharp and his hands steady. When a heist goes wrong and Baby meets a waitress named Deborah, he decides he wants out, but his boss forces him into one last job with a new crew that does not trust him and does not care if he lives or dies. As the robberies turn chaotic and the crew starts turning on each other, Baby must choose between running with Deborah or going down with criminals who are ready to use him as a shield. Baby Driver is a fast, stylish action thriller where a young getaway driver finally tries to take the driver's seat of his own life and steer towards something better before the world around him pulls him back in. Angel Has Fallen, 2019.
What is that? Are they bats?
The drones!
In Washington, D.C., during a quiet fishing trip with President Alan Trumbull, Secret Service agent Mike Banning is the man who always steps between the commander-in-chief and danger. When a swarm of weaponized drones suddenly attacks, wiping out the entire protection detail, Banning manages to save the president's life, but the explosion leaves Trumbull in a coma and only one survivor on record, Banning. Falsified evidence frames him as the inside man, and Mike wakes up in a hospital bed, handcuffed and charged with attempted assassination and treason, forcing Mike to seek help from the last person he ever wanted to face, his estranged father. With his family in danger and the country on the brink of blaming a foreign power, he must clear his name, expose the real conspirators, and get back to the president before the next staged attack starts a war. Angel Has Fallen is a brutal action thriller where Gerard Butler drags a battered body through explosions, gunfights, and betrayal to prove that the man sworn to protect the president might also be the one the system wants erased. Vitam, 2025.
Quelle tristesse. Je te laisse une dernière chance pour régler tout ça.
In modern Paris, a former elite French counterterrorism officer named Frank Lazareff is trying to rebuild his life with his pregnant wife, Léo Franck, after a mission gone wrong destroyed his career. When armed men break into their home and kidnap his wife, he survives the attack and discovers the group is tied to a failed operation from his past and to a political conspiracy powerful enough to erase anyone connected to it. Dragged back into the violent world he tried to leave, Frank races through Paris safe houses, underground contacts, and government shadows chasing the men who took Léo and the truth they are trying to bury. Vitam is a sharp French thriller where every lead is a threat, every secret has a price, and one man's fight for his family collides with a state that wants the past dead and buried. Den of Thieves, Pantera, 2025.
I started a hunt. He got over on me. No one gets over on me.
Gerard Butler leads as Big Nick O'Brien, a relentless LA sheriff hunting the one thief who has slipped him for years. When a massive covert exchange draws both men toward the Panther Mafia, Nick follows the trail across borders, through black market deals, and into a heist engineered to spark a global firefight. From Antwerp's diamond districts to Marseille and the Côte d'Azur, their pursuit erupts into gunfights, ambushes, and high-speed escapes as hunters and thieves collide over the world's largest diamond score. Den of Thieves. Pantera is a sharp, high-stakes action thriller where loyalty fractures, crews collide, and the line between cop and criminal gets shattered one shot at a time. Almost Cops 2025.
Dag op straat om te vechten.
In a small coastal town, two childhood friends, Renzo and Miguel, dream of becoming real police officers, but end up working as underpaid security guards with nothing but fake badges and bigger ambitions. Their quiet routine collapses when a cartel-linked shipment goes missing, and the town's criminals mistake the duo for actual undercover cops. Suddenly forced into the world they always fantasized about, Renzo and Miguel stumble through interrogations, chases, and shootouts, trying to stay alive long enough to figure out who framed them. As the threats escalate and their friendship strains under pressure, they uncover a local conspiracy that reaches deeper into their town than they ever imagined. Almost Cops is a fast comedy action film produced by Netflix where two wannabe officers find themselves in real danger and prove that sometimes courage shows up long before the training does. Colombiana 2011.
Who are you? Not from service.
In late 90s, Bogota, a young girl named Catalea witnesses her family destroyed by a powerful cartel, forcing her into a life on the run. Taken in by her uncle and trained as a weapon, Catalea grows into a disciplined hitwoman, driven by one mission to hunt down the men who murdered her parents. Living under false identities and operating across the US, she hides behind precision and patience, leaving a signature orchid symbol at each crime scene. But as the bodies pile up, Catalea faces relentless federal pursuit, cartel assassins closing in, and the risk of her double life collapsing around the few people she cares about. With enemies tightening the noose and revenge consuming her every choice, she must decide whether justice is worth the humanity she is losing, or if vengeance is the only truth she has left. Colombiana is a fierce, relentless journey where bullets carve memories, past sins whisper in the dark, and justice cuts deeper than any blade.